Hi, welcome to another edition of the Free Exchange of Ideas. So, I'm going to hammer a couple of things because today is Friday and people don't really pay much attention to these things. But I'm going to hammer a couple more things about Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor Gavin Newsom is absolutely running for president of the United States. He is the Democrats' top dog in case Biden doesn't come out of this coma, um, or he just relinquishes power and bails out. He's their number one. Gretchen Whitmer is right behind him, although they may hesitate with her because she's leaning more independent. And then there's Cory Booker. He's number three. Cory Booker doesn't stand a shot. He's way too left, and he's way too insane. He's just not altogether here. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about. There's a couple of articles about his China visit, which I liked a lot, and I would like to talk about them. One of them is from The Hill, and I'm going to link these down in the description box below. But this is only Newsom can go to China and embarrass himself this badly. I love this article. This is a good article. I'm actually going to move this so I'm not looking so far off the screen. Let's see. And the opening sentence of this is California Governor Gavin Newsom is Democrats' unofficial candidate in waiting. He is outspoken on every issue facing the nation and firmly on the progressive side of the scale when he does. Yeah. Have you checked California lately? Unlike President Biden, I thought this was kind of funny, but, you know, unlike President Biden, Newsom has always been on the left. Biden has always been a Democrat. Always. I don't know how he couldn't be on the left. At any rate, so it's a natural place for him. The national stage, however, is something different. What plays in California often does not play in Peoria. That's a reference to flyover country, in essence. Much more conservative country. And when you start talking hardcore lefty rhetoric, the people in the middle of the country just they turn it off. They don't even listen to you anymore. You've gone beyond what they're willing to listen to, and it doesn't help your case in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. As he ventured onto the world stage last week to meet with Chinese leaders, I think that's really all you needed to know, right? Newsom seems to have forgotten this. I'm sorry. Yeah, Newsom seems to have forgotten this. In doing so, he has stumbled in such a way as to make the Democratic establishment uneasy about its current viable Plan B. So he is absolutely their Plan B in case Biden fails for some reason. Even if business with China is a necessary evil, leaders should never forget that it is an evil. The Communist Chinese government is committing what our government recognizes as a genocide against the Uyghur Muslims. I had to look that word up because I could not spell it to save my life. And that being said, it's extremely important that we do not allow China to wipe this group out. They're Muslims. They're a ethnic group within China, and they are at best slaving them to death. At the very worst, they are killing them outright, and that's not something we can afford to allow happen. I don't know how we can fix it without going to war with China, short of pulling every dollar out of China and saying we are not going to deal with you anymore. We'll deal with Bangladesh or India or Pakistan to get cheap labor because it is really inexpensive labor there. Or Africa. But no, we're not going to deal with China anymore. And I think that's where we have to go. We have to go to economic sanctions, and we won't be able to get them through the United Nations. But the United States is probably the business that United States registered countries do, and the business that you do through Amazon or Alibaba or any of those other online sales places. and the business that the United States does as a whole with China needs to come to a grinding halt and just say, nope, no more dollars for you. Apple, Nike, and there's another couple of big companies, Disney. If you want to continue to do business with China, you can no longer be registered in the United States. You can't run your business in the United States. We won't take any of your dollars or give you any of our dollars. You either come home and do your business here. You're already charging an outrageous sum of money for sneakers. You either come home and do your business here, where you started, and you stop using the Uyghur slave labor, or you get out of the United States. Go register in England, see how well that goes out for you. Go register in Greece, see how well that works out for you. Register in Afghanistan, they'll take you. Even if business with China is a necessary evil, leaders should never forget that it is an evil. I think I needed to repeat that. You need to hear it twice. This is why even lip service to human rights is important in diplomatic terms. If you're not willing to bring it up, you don't meet with people orchestrating the genocide. I love that. I'm not gonna read any more of that article because that's a great article and I really think you ought to read it. But there is another article here from Reason magazine. Yeah, and I like this one too. Gavin Newsom's visit to China demonstrated the California governor's lack of statesmanship. Sorry, mispronounced that word. During a speech in January, Governor Gavin Newsom, I don't want to do that right now, declared that, quote, in our finest hours, California has always been freedom's force multiplier, comma, protecting liberty from a rising tide of oppression taking root in state houses, comma, weaknesses masquerading as strength, comma, small men in big offices, end quote. It sounds to me that like he's describing himself and our legislature. I was born and raised in California. Been here all 61 years except the time I spent in Texas for the military. That's it. I've been here my entire life. I know this man inside and out. I know his group inside and out. I know his cronies inside and out. I don't know if any of you have read Stephen King, and I know this sounds like a little bit of an offshoot, but I just want to say this. There was a story he wrote about a guy who had been in an accident, and it gave him some prophetic powers. He'd shake somebody's hand and get a prophetic thing about them. And one of the persons that he shook hands with was a guy who was running for president. And the prophetic vision that he received from that handshake was this guy holding a baby up in front of him to keep him from being shot. He didn't know where that came from. He didn't know what it was, but he knew it was bad. Eventually, he was the one who pointed a rifle at the guy. Never fired a shot, if I remember correctly in the book. But he was taken down by security. But there were several photos of the guy holding the baby up in front of his face so it wouldn't be shot. And that killed his career. That is Gavin Newsom. That politician holding the baby up in front of him is Gavin Newsom. Gavin talks a big fucking game. He is full of crap. He is a scared little boy who has the entire CHP, California Highway Patrol, at his beck and call as security. CHP is the governor's security. I just want you to think about that. It is the largest police force in the state because it is border to border, front to back, north to south. Oh, that was my phone. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, lack of statesmanship. Let's see. The most glaring problem with Newsom's words is that they are self-evidently not so. Plus, he's not convincing anyone of anything with his crammed-down approach to climate policy. Historically, California has indeed been a place that beckoned people from across the world, a blank slate where people, regardless of their background, could build a prosperous life. Yet our government knows little else beyond stifling regulation and punitive taxation. Across the globe, people tend to flee more oppressive places, even if they have great scenery and weather, for freer locales. In 2022, 817,000 Californians left for other states, a net loss of 342,000 people. Now, net loss, that means a influx of people, births, deaths, that kind of thing. So, in essence, out of that 817,000 people, they had an influx of less than 1%. And we had an outgrowth or a outgoing of people 342,000. 340, that's a third of a million people left this state. Why? Because it's insane here. We lost a congressional seat in the House of Representatives because of those 342,000 people. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I had an opportunity, I would have gone with them. In a heartbeat. Already got the plans laid out. I regularly document the problems and loss of freedom here, but Newsom's hypocritical words jumped out after watching the press coverage, of his tour last week of communist China. A true statesman isn't afraid to speak truth to power, yet Newsom received well-deserved brickbats. I do not know what a brickbat is, but it sounds like it hurt. For meeting with China's President Xi Jinping and not mentioning the country's well-documented human rights abuses. Again, I'm not going to read any more of that article. I'm going to tag it in to the, oops, I pushed the wrong button. Look at that. I'm going to tag it into the documents below. I want you to understand something because it's truly important. I would vote Gretchen Whitmer in a heartbeat if I thought he was actually going to run. If Biden, for whatever reason, bows out but maintains the office, or just bows out completely and Kamala Harris takes over the office, because honestly, that's what I expected to happen last year. I would vote Gretchen Whitmer before I'd vote anybody in the Democrat Party, which doesn't mean I would vote for Gretchen Whitmer either. I'm still looking for my candidate. I'm not hearing anybody that's really giving me everything I need. But Trump can't really talk, so I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. I'll be honest, I just haven't. But this guy is dangerous for the country. He's dangerous. He will cause World War III because he doesn't know what he's doing. You cannot appease the CCP. You cannot appease Hamas. You cannot appease Iran. You cannot appease Putin. You either have to destroy them or give up. We don't have very much choice at all. China is impossible to destroy. They're much too large, they're much too good, and they have us by like 750 million people. I'm sorry, they have us by like 650 million people. So their bench is deep. Our bench ain't that deep. Russia is just insane. Putin is beyond the wall insane. You cannot talk to him anymore. He's done what he wanted to do, and we allowed it because we didn't want to get into a war with Putin, which I kind of understand. But if you don't want to get in a war with Putin, don't help the other side. Stay the fuck out of the way. Let shit happen. Unless you're willing to go all the way to the wall with it. And we are not. Iran is flat dangerous. There's no question. Nobody even considers it an option to let them do their thing. They have spent a good deal of money in Gaza and Lebanon and other places. Jordan, they spent some money there. The fact that they have that kind of money to spend tells me that they are still selling oil beyond their UN limitations, which means they're probably selling to Russia. They're certainly selling weapons to Russia. They've sold drones and other weapon systems to Russia. So this is kind of a proxy war between Russia and Ukraine, with Iran supplying Russia, China supplying Russia, and the rest of the West is supplying or was supplying up till last week, uh, uh, Ukraine. I have a couple of friends, uh, a woman I played music with for quite a long time who's Ukrainian, and her family, a lot of her family is still there, and I feel sorry for them. I don't know what else to do. We can only afford so much. The United States cannot afford to throw money at a problem we cannot fix. We need the rest of the West to jump up. Germany finally has, I believe Sweden did, a couple other countries, Poland dropped a little bit in there. But you have to remember, the United States is doing not just the lion's share, but well over 50% of the money the money and supplies that are going to Ukraine are from the United States stores. I just read an article a little bit ago that said we are running low on backup supplies for our own troops. And that's when we have to say, no more. We can't do it anymore. We've given you everything we can. Again, Russia's bench is just way too deep for Ukraine. And we can't go in there because then it becomes a whole nother barrel of monkeys. And this ain't our monkeys, not our circus. Sorry, Zelensky. It's just the way it is. And I feel sorry. I do feel sorry for you. I think it's time for you to bug out because it's the only way you're going to survive. Putin won't let you live. He can't. He can't afford you to live. I'm sorry. All right. I think that's enough for today. We're getting up against the 20-minute mark, and I don't want to do that to you guys. Remember, even fluffy bunnies have teeth and claws for a reason. I gotta get that video. I'll look for that today so I can add that. Live long, fight hard, win the day. See ya!